Alright, you guys, how's it going? So I'm going to show you my Rostra cruise control. Just a heads up, this is not going to be an installation video. It's going to be a how I installed it video, because the install took me so long that I was getting frustrated, everything else, and I probably just wouldn't have, it's probably better I did not have the camera in my hand at the time. But yeah, so I'm just going to show you what I did, how I did it, and also my my troubleshooting. But anyway, this is the control switch here. Everything I bought off Amazon. This was $48 on Amazon. I'll put links to everything down below if you guys want to buy this. But the one key thing that I will state right now is that this kit only works with a mechanical throttle body, meaning that it's not an electronic throttle control. It has to be a hardwired. It has to be a hardwired throttle. Meaning you actually have to have a physical wire going from your accelerator pedal to your throttle body. That's the only way this kit works. But Rostra does make electronic throttle control stuff for like F-150s and everything else basically. But anyway, this is the big player right here. It's the servo unit, and that's basically what, you know, controls the throttle body right now. But so the kit comes with this. I don't know if you can see, but there's also a black metal bracket back there. It comes with that. Comes with the wiring harness and the wiring loom, which is nice. So I actually need to secure that a little bit better. But comes with the steel cabling already attached. It comes with a million different ways to attach it to a million different types of throttle bodies, however you want to do it. Which I'll splice that. I'll splice that separate video in here later, showing you more in depth of my choice of connecting it to the throttle body. It comes with a bunch of Scotch connectors, which aren't my favorite, but they're a lot easier than soldering and whatnot. And that's hooked up to my vehicle speed sensor. That is the one good thing about this kit, is it does tell you exactly where your vehicle speed sensor wire is. They're a little bit iffy on the colors. Like it says that mine was purple and red, but this is purple and orange. I can see where the misconception was. It's no big deal. But they did tell it. They did tell me it was the middle connector, pin 1, which this is the middle connector and the first pin right there. So, and then the gray wire here is your vehicle speed sensor wire. The black wire is always your ground. This is your clutch disengagement option if you choose to, which I didn't. Mine is a manual, but if I do need shift, I just either push the brake or disengage it, because that was another 50 bucks. And so it comes with that. And then the other really nice touch that they made on this kit was the ability to detach the wiring harness from right about here, a little bit more inside the firewall, and from everything else inside, so you can actually fish the harness through the firewall without having to worry about the fuses or anything else getting in the way. The harness itself is extremely long. Some of the wires are not long enough though. Case in point is the fuse wire, or the fuse panel wire. It's a brown wire, and coming through the firewall with all the slack taken up, it only went to about right here, and my fuse panel's over there. So I actually had to snip the end of that wire off, strip it, and then I put a butt connector on it and just ran some like I think 20 gauge wire over, around, and into my fuse panel. And so the hardest part for me, and this is something I'm going to suggest to you, is do some research on your vehicle first before buying this. And the one bit of research you want to find is not only where your brake switch is for your activation and deactivation of your brake signal, but what pins and what color the wires are. The kit does tell you what color your wires are, but they don't say where they are. And if it's still over here, I'll show it to you. Did I show that to you? No, that's not in a different vid. That's a different video. Yeah, it's not here. Anyway, I went down to Vista Ford in Oxnard and asked the shop foreman for a wiring diagram of my brake system. And the connector that the diagram shows just was not in my truck, so I had to go troubleshooting, and you can see all the pieces of wire that I had to strip to get, you know, to get to my wiring harness. And so out of 5, I had 5 different wires to choose from. I already had one hooked up that worked. Now, before I continue, there's a purple and a red wire that you need to connect to the brake system. The red one needs a constant 12 volts, whether the pedal's pressed or depressed. And then the purple wire needs to have 0 volts when the brake pedal's not pressed, and then a constant 12 volts when it is being pressed. That was the biggest obstacle for me, was finding those wires. And huh? What are you doing now? Videos. Huh? Making YouTube videos. But alright guys, sorry about that. One of my neighbors came to talk to me. But anyway, I highly doubt you can see this, but I hope you can. Anyway, there's a red wire. It's going to the 12 volt. And if you have a Ranger, this is blue and red, it looks like. And then this is the purple going to the on-off switch, which is black and green. And but yeah, that was my biggest obstacle with this. And then once I finally did find those wires, I found that my system still did not turn on. And I'm like, okay. So I call Rostra again, the manufacturer, and they're sitting there scratching their heads like I am. And lo and behold, after I get done talking to them, I back probe the connection going from the switch to the fuse panel, and lo and behold, when I turn my truck on, I have 0 volts going to it. So that's when I pulled the fuse out, and I noticed that the fuse is blown, so I popped a new fuse in. It works. So which I have a video showing that, and you know, I'll put that in. And but overall, this I love this kit. It's, with as much as I drive every week for school, it's so nice to be able just to kick back and only worry about steering, and I'm not having to constantly go up and down, look at my speed, everything else. I can actually concentrate on driving, and so it's nice. But yeah, you know, like I said, I have a bunch of different videos already that I'm going to splice into this when I edit it, and go into more depth of each component of this system. This is just my general overview of my experience with it and how I like it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and splice all those in, and you know, again, sorry guys that this isn't exactly a installation video, but like I said, it took me about a week to finally do all this. With how busy I am for school and everything else, I just couldn't find the time to do it. So for a while I had panels and wires hanging out of the inside of my truck. So but enough of me rambling. But so we'll go ahead and start cutting to these different videos and showing you how I installed it for the most part. Alright, so really quick, I just wanted to show you my the way I have this cruise control set up to my throttle body. And one important thing I forgot to mention, which the kit mentions: in order for this universal kit to work, you have to have a physical, mechanical throttle wire. It can't be throttle by wire. It has to, well, this is throttle by wire, but you know what I mean. It can't be an electronic throttle control. It has to have a mechanical type of acceleration. But anyway, so this is the kit comes with tons of little different attachments that you can do. And like I said, Ford was great about this. They already had this little nipple right here on the throttle body linkage that I could slip this little connector on. You can see it right there. And so I pop that over, and then you get these little chain bead connectors here. And to fit it over these huge little hex nuts, it looks like, you need to spread it open with a little tiny flathead screwdriver, slip it on, and then crimp it down. Same thing with these beads. We just want to measure it out. So I mean, you don't want it so tight when there's no tension on it. You don't want it so tight like it's going to be pulling your throttle body back. So there's just a little bit of slack there, which is perfect for me. And then same thing on this side, spread it open a little bit and then crimp it down. And then, like I mentioned before too, Ford was great with this little existing bracket, because this is where they actually put their factory cruise control if you do opt for it. But yeah, that's how the throttle body's set up. Pretty simple. But again, this is the setup, you know. It's and another thing I forgot to mention earlier. Let me get a screwdriver really quick. This is another important part of setting your cruise control up for your specific vehicle. Need to find a tiny screwdriver. That'll work. Okay. So inside the cruise control servo, you have 12 upfitter switches in here that you need to program. And then if you don't program it right, go ahead and program it. And then the guys at Rostra told me to disconnect your battery for about 10 minutes to let the system reset. But I don't know if this is going to come up on camera, but you've got those little upfitter switches in there. Like I said, I hope this is popping up on camera, but so those are all behind that grommet there, and I'll pull the manual out here really quick to show you why they're there. Alright, so if we come over here, we have the manual. Expose the elements. Let me find the page really quick. And then, like, I didn't show you any of the parts, but these are all the parts that are included in this kit. Like, these are all the different connectors and whatnot that you can use to hook up to your throttle cable, or throttle linkage. And there's a bunch of different diagrams here on how you can do it. Hook and loop, that kind of stuff. Here's the upfitter switches right here. Okay, and so there are 12 programming switches, and if I can find, that's the wiring diagram. I don't know if it's in here or not. It might have been in my other manual that I can't find. Yeah, it's not in here. Anyway, so that was a waste of time. But one of them is for how many pulses per minute or per mile that your vehicle puts out, your vehicle speed sensor. And like mine puts out 8,000 pulses per mile. And so that means 8,000 times per mile. My cruise control unit now is picking up a signal 8,000 times for every mile that it takes, and so you have to program one of those switches to be able to allow the cruise control unit to accept that. And there's also some for 12,000. It's all dependent on your vehicle, and that's another thing that the cruise control manual, vehicle specific manual that your vehicle comes with, or that it comes with, tells you, along with your vehicle speed sensor and everything else. But other things like the amount of cylinders you have. Now, as far as gain sensitivity and whatnot, which means how fast the cruise control system reacts to you gaining and losing speed, they always say to start out low first, which has been fine for me, even something this small of an engine, only a 2.3. I headed up a pretty big hill last night on the way home from school. It wasn't a huge one in Camarillo, but it was the big one coming into Chatsworth out of Simi, and I just wanted to try and see if it would do it, and it was probably at wide open throttle, but it kept me right around 65 all the way up the hill, and then as soon as we got over the crest of the hill, it backed off the throttle and just let me coast down. So I've never seen this thing get below about 2 miles an hour below the speed that it was trying to obtain. So it's it reacts pretty fast, and even in the low setting. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the mechanical aspect of this kit, and I just like this one because I know it's not going to come off. So I actually think I have some of the connectors back here. Yeah, like here's one that you can go right to the throttle cable. There's another one. I guess I may have been able to use that. I don't know. This is the first one I was initially going to use, but I found that it just kept coming off, and I didn't want my cruise control to not work anymore. But yeah, all these other things, they gave you some extra hardware, like extra bolts and stuff like that. There's a little cotter pin for another one of the connectors, bolts, lock washers, all that stuff. So there's tons of different connectors for tons of different vehicle applications, and hence the term universal. But yeah, so we'll go in and we'll start the diagnosis on my brake switch. And you know, I will warn you though, in that video I'm getting kind of frustrated, so with my brake switch. So even with all that and everything else, it's still proving to be quite difficult, and I just need to get the voltmeter out. But that is the working man's best tool as far as automotive is concerned, or any electrical aspect, is the voltmeter. So, but we'll pick it up there. Alright, so good news. I found one of the wires I was looking for, and I really wish I had alligator clips on this voltmeter, because if you were here seeing me do this, or on camera, you probably would have been laughing the way I was contoured in here. So I was trying to hold the voltmeter up against the wire that I spliced, up against that at the same time, the ground, and pressing the brake pedal at the same time. But anyway, the wire that I was checking the voltage for, I pressed the brake pedal, and from 0 up to 12 volts, and so that's where the purple wire from this cruise control goes. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm also going to check the other wire to see if it has a constant 12 volt source. And when you do this, you want to have your key on, engine off, or you can have it running, but I'm just not going to waste the gas. So key on, engine off, just let the computer, everything else run, just enough power to get everything running in here. And yeah, so we're halfway there, and hopefully I find it. If so, wrap it all up, solder it, and seal it, all that stuff. We'll go out and hopefully have a good road test on this puppy. So Lord knows I need it, with putting about 500 miles a week on my truck. So, but hopefully we get that soon, so we'll see. Alright you guys, sorry for starting this segment off dark, but anyway, so I think I may have found the problem with my cruise control. So today, like I said, I've been working on this thing for a while now. It's coming up on a week, but I think I finally figured out what the problem was. So I'm running a smaller gauge wire, so it's easier to put in the fuse panel to extend to the fuse wire here, or to the the fuse panel wire. Anyway, so I'm sitting there running around like a wild goose chase. I'm calling Rostra. They're scratching their heads like I am, trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with this thing. And all my, and I found that other connection I was looking for my brake switch, and I tested it out on the voltmeter, everything else. I found everything else, and I'm sitting here and I can't get power from my fuse panel to the harness over here, and it's just not. And then it finally dawns on me, and this is where you always check the fuse first. And if you can see that has a break in it. So luckily I have my dad and I have a bunch of fuses, oddly enough this size, laying around. So I grabbed another 10 amp fuse, popped it in, and what do you know, I've got 12 volts running to the switch. And so if we turn the truck on really quick, we notice I have power. So I'm probably going to take it on a quick test drive really quick, but I need to straighten up all these wires and zip tie them now that I hope I have this problem fixed. And we'll take it on a test drive really quick and see if it works. If so, fantastic, because I'll have sorry, hiccups again. If so, I will have cruise control on the way home from school tonight. So 40 miles of never having to touch the gas pedal. But I may be getting ahead of myself, but we'll see. So yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and tidy up these wires a little bit, and we'll clean all these tools out and whatnot. We'll hop in the truck and get on the highway or something and try the cruise control out. Alright you guys, I now have, if you're recording, I now have working cruise control. It's holding me at 35. My foot is off the gas right now. I'm so happy. I've been waiting forever for this. My next Idaho trip is going to be so much better. Let's test the acceleration. Okay, it's speeding me up. That's just a loose bolt right now. Oh, I'm so happy. Let's test the brake. Okay, it does disengage. Let's test resume. And it's speeding me back up. Oh, I'm so excited. Rostra, I'm so sorry for causing you all this heartache on the phone, but you know, I just my dumb ass. So, I'm so happy this is finally working. But I'll probably, like I said, I'm hopping on the freeway tonight for school, and so I'll be sure to shoot a little video either on the way there or on the way home. Showing how it works on the freeway, even though it's not much different from that. But like I said, I'm just extremely happy that I finally have cruise control in this truck. I'll throw links to everything in the bottom. Not that this is the end of the video, but of where I bought it off Amazon. I think it was I got the module from A Better Place to Buy. I think that's the name of the company. It was based out of Las Vegas. I don't know where I got I don't remember where I got the switch, but good news is everything works and I can finally put my truck back together. Like that panel I can finally put back on, and I can finally tidy up all these wires because my cruise control works, and I'm like a kid in a candy store right now. I finally, like I said, my last Idaho trip, if you saw that video, I drove 900 miles with my foot on the gas, and when I got out, you know, my shin just cramped up. So I get to relax now, at least my foot does, while driving. And you know, I put 600 miles a week roughly on my truck for school, and hopefully I see an increase in gas mileage, but we'll see. Like I said, just very happy that this is working. So we'll pick this up when I get on the highway, and we'll test it out up at the highway speeds. Alright, so we're out in my truck right now, and I have cruise control on right now, and there's the switch running, and my foot is not on the gas pedal. And it's holding me right at 60. So this thing's been working really good. I'm happy with it. The one downside, it kind of spooked me at first. When you either press the brake or you deactivate the cruise control, at least on my truck, I don't know if it's the same with all vehicles, but when I do it, you hear a loud thud. And at first I thought it was the throttle adjusting cable slamming up against the firewall, but it's actually my pedal, all the slack being released immediately. So it's not one of those gradual, just kind of systems where it just lets off the tension. It's the exact opposite. I mean, when you want cruise control disengaged, it disengages it. But however, like here, I'll slow down really quick. Let's see if I can pick this up. You hear that? That thud? That's the gas pedal going back up. But anyway, here, I'm gonna hit resume really quick, and you'll see so there's resume. Foot's not on the gas. And she's climbing. And I just felt the throttle back off. So it works really good. It's pretty precise. I'm happy with it. So you know, I already tested it out at highway speeds, even though I'm pretty much at highway speeds, and she works pretty good. So handles loads pretty well up hills. I mean, nothing like the huge pass up Camarillo if you live around this area. I dropped that into gear, but there's that thud again. But yeah, I like it. So yeah, comments, questions, leave them down below. If you're feeling generous, hit that like button. And like I said, I'll throw the links down below where I bought these on Amazon. But I know this wasn't the most in-depth review of this, or at least installation. It was more of my diagnosis of my failure to install it efficiently the first time. But it just shows you, you know, kind of what to look for. I mean, the kit overall, now that I understand how it goes together, it's a very easy kit to install. It's really easy. You just hook it up to the vehicle speed sensor wire, or get the separate sensor and hook that up somewhere, I don't know where. Hook it up to the brake switch, put your fuse, or put the power into the fuse box, and then ground it out and route the throttle cable, and it's really that easy. They've really taken a lot of the guesswork out of it. My problem was just I would suggest doing some research before you buy this kit. You know, find out where your brake switch is on your vehicle. Whereas mine was, I have access to all data and everything else that pro mechanics use, but it was just pretty tricky to find the brake switch on my truck. So, but overall, yeah, I really like this cruise control system. I can see I can see myself using it a lot with how much highway driving I do. And you know, like I said, I drive to Idaho every year. This thing's going to be a huge relief off my shin the next Idaho trip. So, so like right now the speed limit's 55. So just to show you again really quick, you know, but so speeding up here. And so the manual says to, when you're about to set your speed, you want to turn the system on, and then like I just turned it on the on-ramp, and then it says to wait 3 seconds, and I'm guessing that's just time for this thing to spool up or whatever, and then you hit set. So like right now I'm going to hit set, if I can find the switch. There it is. And so it lags just a little bit, and then you can hit the button, and each time you hit the button, just like push it and let off, it gains or decreases 1 mile per hour increments. So I just hit the switch twice, and now I'm up to 55, and my foot's not on the gas again. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm gonna love this thing next time I go to Idaho for spring break. So, because when last time I drove up there, I got out in Idaho, my shin locked up, so 900 miles of just keeping my foot on the gas, so there's that thud. So that's really the only bug about it that I can find. I may find some way to kind of dampen that noise, not that it's any hindrance at all, but anyway, sorry for rambling. I'm rambling too much now. But yes, I would recommend this system, but like I said, do some research on your vehicle first. The manual is kind of, I mean, for your vehicle speed sensor, if you're going through the computer, it's really good as far as locating your vehicle speed sensor wire. The rest of it, that's where I'm kind of mentioning and suggesting that you do your own research on your vehicle. But yeah, I like it. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, feeling generous, hit that like button. I don't know if I said that already, but yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care.